Okay, here's the end of the final chapter. The excitement drained out of Ralph. I don't have any place to keep it. It's too big to go through the knot hole, and I couldn't hide it behind the curtain forever because I heard that after Labor Day, when there aren't so many tourists, they take the curtains down to be cleaned. That is a problem, agreed Keith. There must be some place in a big hotel like this where you could keep a motorcycle. Ralph sat on the motorcycle, thinking as hard as he could. In the closet? He couldn't get it out of there when the door closed. Under the bed? Eventually, it would be found. How about downstairs? Suggested Keith. I could carry it down for you before we leave. There must be a good hiding place down there, someplace. There's a big old clock my ancestors ran up, said Ralph thoughtfully. Nobody ever cleans under it, but frankly, I don't care to have it striking over my head. Keith thought a while. How about the big television set by the lobby? He asked. The noise shouldn't bother you because you would only go under it at night when everyone else was asleep. Yes, Ralph was excited. That's a perfect garage. I saw it when I got the aspirin. The legs are just high enough for the motorcycle, but not quite high enough for a vacuum cleaner attachment. Then it's settled, said Keith, and then he added, rather sternly, Ralph thought, but first you must ask your mother. Ralph dismounted and ran to the knothole. He was gone several minutes before he returned to an triumph. As I can keep the motorcycle if I promise to drive it carefully and wear my crash helmet every single time I ride it. Swell! Keith was just as excited as Ralph. When we check out, I'll hide it for you while my folks are busy paying the bill. I can't thank you enough. Ralph fastened his crash helmet once more. I never thought I'd have a motorcycle of my very own. Keith lay back on the pillow and smiled at the mouse mounting the motorcycle. It will be fun thinking of you riding around that big old lobby when I'm back in Ohio this winter going to school. And when the teacher asks us to write a composition about our summer vacation, I can write about meeting a brave mouse named Ralph who rode a little motorcycle. I'll tell about your bringing the aspirin, except I'll have to call it a pill because I can't spell aspirin. Of course, the teacher won't believe it, but she'll probably say I show imagination. Ralph felt proud to think he was going to be written about in a composition in far-off Ohio. He grabbed his tail, gunned the motor, and took off, heading for the threadbare part of the carpet that made such a good speedway. Round and round he sped faster and faster until his whiskers blew back and he was filled with the joy of speed. He longed to wave to Keith, but he realized a good driver must keep both paws on the hand grips. He glanced up and noticed that Keith's eyes were closed. The boy had fallen asleep with a smile on his face. Ralph dragged his heels to the brake of the motorcycle. Quietly, he parked it beside the bed, and quietly, he removed his crash helmet and hid it behind the curtain. He did not want to disturb the sleeping boy. Ralph could wait to ride the motorcycle. It was his to keep. All right, that is the end of The Mouse and the Motorcycle. Now, if you liked this book, there are several different Ralph books. So Beverly Cleary wrote more adventures for Ralph in some other different stories. I like the one where he goes to school. That one's pretty good too. So this is just the first one in a series. Might be something fun to get over the summer. You might be able to check it out from a library when it opens up. Or you could order it and you could even read it next year when you're in second grade. This is the last chapter I'm going to read you. This is our last chapter as a first grade class. I hope you liked this book. I do. I think Ralph and Keith are both pretty good characters. Keith is very kind and forgiving, and he wants excitement, but he doesn't really have it. And Ralph is really brave, but he kind of doesn't think before he acts. So they kind of balance each other out well. Well, I hope you liked that book, guys. I will read you our last picture book story tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye.